Welcome to Fast Forward on Finances, where Greg and I bring you useful information on financial matters that affect your life.
In this segment, we're looking at the topic of teaching children fiscal responsibility.
It makes sense that money management skills should be an important part of a child's education. But this is one area where you can't count on school to do the job for you. Financial matters are personal matters, and parents can take the lead.
That is so true, Julia. Discussing the family budget with your children, setting a reasonable allowance for each child in the family, and teaching your children to manage their money are life skills that affect you as well as them. It isn't easy, and it's time-consuming, but it's one of the best things you can do for your child and yourself.
The question we get most often on this subject is, why should a child be taught about handling finances?
The most important thing that a parent can do is to really start children at the very early age of 3 or younger, teaching them the consequences of shopping and not just simply being able to want something and buy it.
Children learn by modeling. You know, you may say something to children that you need to save, that you need to learn about money, and you need to delay gratification. But what do you do? Do you do that? Do you teach children just by saying or just by actually showing them?
Financial experts generally agree that the first lessons can start as soon as the child understands what money is and how it's used. When we started to gather information on this topic, we asked, what about teaching basic ideas of fiscal responsibility?
We were told you can begin when children are preschoolers and continue their education about money well into the high school years. This is what we were told by our experts.
As we look at children going into elementary school, we can do a number of different things. We can set up a savings account so children would begin to then put money away. Of course, they would have piggy banks as early as they can possibly understand how to get the money in the bank. And then they can also build on that needs versus wants concept. They can also begin to set some goals.
We also got some very interesting information on how the kids can be included in the family budget.
Children often have very unrealistic expectations of what it takes to actually pay for everyday expenses. That if those things are never talked about and everything's just put on a plastic card, and that's what they see, they don't understand that it's important for your income to be greater than what you're spending.
Money management is all about responsibility. And as you're teaching your child responsibility, you help them to build a small budget. Budget is really just its income and its expenses. And even at a small age, that child might have something they want to save for. Savings is an expense.
I've also noticed with the clients that I've worked with that the parents that are doing this to children, the children really change. And all of a sudden, they begin to help the parents be aware of, no, Mom, no, Dad, we don't have that in our budget. We can't do that.
Children need to learn the value of money, as well as understanding the concepts of earning, saving, spending, and giving.
So let's talk about how to teach children the gift, really, that they give others by giving. And giving to people who don't have everything that they have, and how that can make them feel. It's an important part of saving, because we need to help each other in this world, and to give them the lesson, particularly as a parent, that it's important to pay attention to those who aren't as fortunate as we are and don't have what we have. To teach them to put giving into their thinking on a regular basis is critical.
Children can also keep a money diary to track their own expenses as parents help them with goal setting.
By giving children perhaps, a little fancy notebook, or do Post-it notes. I've seen some children just put 7 Post-it notes on a colored piece of paper, and then at the end of the week you sit down with them and provide them with a calculator, and they start adding this up, and they look at, oh, Mommy, I've wasted, $1.70 this week, and I could have really put that towards whatever it was they wanted. That would be a really great piece to be able to share with your children.
What is the single biggest influence on how kids handle financial matters? We asked the experts, and here are their answers.
I think it's incredibly valuable for parents to teach their children about money. It is not taught really anyplace else. It is the responsibility of the parents, I believe, to teach their children how to be responsible as far as financial concerns.
As a young parent, what I'm definitely looking to do with my daughter is from an early age try to teach her to only buy what you need as best as you can, or try to save up some money before you actually buy what it is that you want.
There are many games and resources and tools that parents and children and teachers can order through the libraries, from the Federal Reserve, from different insurance companies, from the National Council on Economic Education, as well as the National Jumpstart Coalition. And these tools are valuable to have in teaching children all these concepts, whether it be saving, investing, sharing, credit. All of these concepts can be taught using these tools in their home as well as their classroom.
What it all comes down to is that if we help our children adopt sound financial habits, they can learn how to solve many of the difficult problems of adulthood.
You're so right. Well, that's all our time for this segment of Fast Forward on Finances. We'll see you next time.